right, guys, welcome back to The Ride, where we dive into the stories behind riders powering the electric movement. Today, we are joined by Paige Thompson and Jesse Turner. How are you guys?
Not too bad yourself?
Very good, very good. So you guys are EV riders, I know EUC riders in particular, and excited to dive into your story, explore how it all started, what you ride, and what got you into it.
For sure.
So tell us a little bit.
So me in particular, I got started into it first and got her dragged into it later on.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always kind of been in riding dirt bikes, skateboards, you name it. Anything that you can ride and drive, I was down for it.
And when did you start? How old were you?
I started riding when I was quite young, probably about 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
My dad was right into mudding trucks and stuff like that, so getting into dirt bikes and everything at a super young age, that's what it was about. And for him, it wasn't just about getting into it, it was about competing in it.
Okay, so he was into it himself,
he
very
got
much
me
so.
into it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So from there, basically, the first PEV type stuff was e-skate for me. I got riding with a buddy who was DIYing e-skates and got me into it because I wanted to ride and hang out with my buddy. And the next thing you know, he comes back with no e-skate, but with an EUC, and now I'm here riding EUCs. So it was a good journey through riding little e-motos and e-skates and one wheels and stuff. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yourself, Paige, I guess. From my understanding, Jesse pulled you into his world?
He has pulled me into his world since 2019. I will admit that. I come from a very fashion girly background. No sports, no athleticness, anything. But I first seen the EUC and I was obviously terrified of it, and that was my first thing.
It's intimidating.
But I loved it. Yeah. But I started with a electric scooter, a GoTrax actually, to get around the city, and then kind of got into EUC shortly after that. But a completely different world for me.
Yeah. And how have you adapted to it? How are you finding it? Like what excites you about it?
Since it's so different, I've found a lot more confidence and growth within myself, and things that I'm able to actually kind of step outside that comfort zone and see like I'm capable of it. So that has helped me as a person just kind of go through life that way as well. And I'm really enjoying it. The jumping, that's my favorite thing to do. It just feels like a roller coaster almost.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I lived at Canada's Wonderland. So it's a cheap way to go on a ride.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what was it like the first ride, your first experience?
My first actual ride, Jesse took me on a bike path, and I went really smoothly until I wanted to hold his hand, and that threw me off balance, and I was riding actually the Kingsong 14M.
14D?
No,
oh,
M. So
okay,
that was the one before. Everyone thinks it's a D.
Yeah. I had the D,
difference.
but I had the D before. That's so I've experienced that. So
I was learning on that, and then since I got off balance, I jumped off, and then the wheel literally cartwheeled like 15 times. It was insane.
Okay, the motor started going?
Yeah, but that was my first experience, like my first ride, and I was kind of hooked ever since. I kind of wanted to be cool too, so.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely cool, definitely different. Jesse, I first met you, and I guess Paige, you as well, at the mini PEV show. Yep. And at that time took notice of you because you actually won. You won the one wheel.
No. So the year before, I came first place in e-skate. E-skate? Yeah, and then the year after, I came third place.
This year?
Yeah, this year I came third place in e-skate.
Okay, you were on the podium. You were on the podium. I remember you on the podium.
I came first place in the circuit heats for EUC.
For EUC, okay.
Yeah. So I came first place in that, but overall, I think I was 4th or 5th for the PEV events.
Okay.
It's always fun doing the mini PEV stuff.
For sure. It was a really cool, really nice event.
Yeah, I'm a fairly new rider, and this year they had some really good riders out there. So e-skate and EUC.
A lot of talent for sure. Yeah. And you were you doing one wheel first or EUC or kind of at the same time?
No, so just EUC and e-skate. So one wheel, I actually never really ridden one wheel.
Oh, you never ridden a one wheel?
I have probably about, I don't know, we'll say like 18 hours maybe total on a one wheel.
But didn't you ride? You rode it in the PV event or no?
No,
you did not.
no,
okay,
I didn't.
Maybe I confused you.
I fixed the one wheel you had there.
Okay, maybe that's how
yeah.
I associate it with it.
Yeah,
that's right. It had
so
that
I calibrated
funky
and got
little
it
one.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not that I don't want to get in the one wheels. There's too many things I want. Right now I'm trying to get a Talaria or something Surround. Something that way.
Now you're talking my language.
One wheel's gonna be in that mix eventually, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, you know what? They're all fun. I mean, me being here at Epic Cycles all the time, I'm always exploring new electric vehicles, and it's just so fun to try new things, learn new things. They're all completely different feelings, and they have their pluses, of course, and minuses between each one. EUC's I as well am fairly new, about a year. I guess similar to you guys, but maybe probably less hours because I get around everywhere in the E-Moto exactly. So, but there's really not quite a feeling like riding an EUC, feeling like free, like a bird, and how it just like connects to you like one piece, right? Like mind, body, and soul, and you forget that it's there on your feet in a way, right? So
the best way I try to explain it for people is when I was a kid, and especially going around little pump tracks, it's like running and jumping from jump to landing as a little kid. But now I don't have to run. I got that wheel attached to my feet, and I just glide and hop and land, right? So it's almost like bringing back being a little kid running around BMX tracks and stuff like that. But now I don't have to run, thankfully.
No.
You're not good at running. You broke your toe that way.
Yeah, I can't walk, but I can ride.
You can ride? Okay, that's good. That's good. And now that you've been riding for a while, how has the journey evolved for both of you? I know you could let's start with Paige first.
Honestly, I did not think I was going to be off-roading too much nor jumping. I thought I was going to be this fashion girly on different wheels and outfits. There's this one girl in Russia that I follow, Priyanka, and she just does all these cute little dances and fashion things on the wheels. So I thought that was going to be my thing. It was not. I am off-roading, trail riding, jumping, and I love it. It's completely different than what I expected. It's like you said, it's freeing.
Yeah, exactly.
It took me in a different direction than I ever anticipated. It's been a little challenging coming to trying to find certain gear and clothes and such, but
I noticed that. So you are I could tell that you're from the fashion industry. So you came from the fashion industry, and now you're jumping wheels, but you still got that fashion going on. I see your posts on Instagram. You got the all pink matchy.
Have to.
There's your wheel right behind us actually. So
it gives him a headache and a lot of work. I will say that, as you can tell with his, it kind of doesn't have a color coordinating.
Yeah.
Everything with me, my drones, my RC cars, my house, everything that is attached to my name is coordinated. And if it's not, I don't want nothing to do with it.
I hear you. Listen, that's your thing, right?
It's my thing, right?
That's your thing. Everybody has to have their thing for sure. Yeah. So let's talk about community now. So obviously we know you guys ride together. It sounds like you guys do everything together.
Yep.
And but is there another community outside that people that you ride with often? How has the culture been basically surrounding your journey with electric vehicles?
Yeah, so with us being, we're down from the Durham, so we're just east from Toronto. So most of our riders are all down on the eastern side of things, and there's actually quite a few of them. And from when I started till there being maybe 5 or 6 of them, I think it's grown up to 15, 20 plus. And it's not just EUCs anymore. It's one wheels. It's E-Moto. It's anything you can imagine basically riding on there. You get weird 3-wheeler type vehicles that I've never seen before riding with us.
Yeah. And you go on group rides?
Yeah. So we don't have any Friday group rides or things like that. All of our schedules are kind of around. But yeah, for the most part, anytime all of us are free, we try to get together. Us in particular, it's mainly just me, Paige, our buddy Alex, and Paige's friend Kara.
Kara.
Okay, so another girl.
Yeah,
That's good.
she's learning. She's a one-wheeler.
She's a one-wheeler. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have our own little track that our community of BMX riders has so graciously let us to use and build and maintain and work. And that's another thing, is us trying to build that community with them so we can ride on their tracks and stuff like that, and have a little bit more of an understanding of what we're about and what we want to do, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all just want to have fun.
Okay, and speaking of fun, I guess it's not always rosy and peachy, right? Is there anything that sticks out that wasn't so smooth in the learning process, or any rough patches through this journey?
For me in particular, it was learning all the different stuff between tire pressures and higher speeds. That was my main thing, and speed wobbles.
Speed wobbles can get scary.
Yeah.
I've been there too,
Yes.
so we've all been there. So how do you avoid those speed wobbles?
Honestly, for me, the biggest thing, I had a pretty good slide out at around 60 when I first was able to hit 60.
Yeah.
And a speed wobble knocked me out, sent me sliding. Ever since then, I've learned it's all about keeping that low center of gravity, right? So for me, rule of thumb, especially if I'm going down a straight line, be seated anything over 50 kilometers an hour.
Be seated.
Be seated.
You want to be seated.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to sit still. I can't. You can't say
Not
either?
yet. I've done it
Yeah.
once on a big wheel. I can do it better.
It's too wobbly. I don't know how. I don't know where to put
You need that
the
momentum.
feet placement. You
That
know?
is my issue, and
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
that
so
was
you need momentum. So I'm always trying to do it slow from like.
yeah.
Just,
Well, it's like a bike, right? So as soon
Yeah,
as
I
you get
guess so.
going, you
Yeah.
get that forward momentum. But anything's easier on a smaller wheel because it's lighter. But
Not seated riding, though.
No, hey, I can ride seated riding on my small wheel. I can't do it
Yeah.
on a big wheel.
Yeah.
But the pads are a really big issue.
Yeah.
That was his biggest issue, is how do you get your feet and your legs.
Because the pads are there. Yes.
Yeah.
I find it's in the way because your feet are kind of. You don't know where you don't know where to place them. They're kind of like sitting like a duck almost.
And
right?
you got to
Exactly.
be able to get up quick to brake if you're coming onto danger
Yeah.
too. So
Okay, so you're saying that after 60, you don't want to be standing even.
You definitely can. Like you
Can,
watch
yeah.
a lot of the racers too, especially if you're
do.
cornering.
Yeah.
It's just you want to be as low as possible. You want to keep that center of gravity low, right?
Right, right.
For me in a straight line, I've never wobbled out being seated on my wheel, and I've hit 80 plus.
80 plus, okay.
No issues. I've hit pretty aggressive bumps, no wobbles or effects.
Nice.
The only thing you got to worry about is braking after the fact. And again, you want to stay low and behind your wheel, because if you're up high, it's just everything seems to want to wobble out at that point. So just keeping that weight as low as possible to that spinning wheel.
Okay, and have you any challenges other than wobbles with any like I guess there's no challenges without like people in the community, like with police. There's not. It's totally fine. Like they don't. I guess it's kind of gray, but not really. I never had any issues with that, right?
we don't have so much of an issue, at least where we're from. We're also very respectful. There's not a lot of street riders. Like here in Toronto, a lot of people use their wheels to get to work and to their schools and everything. So they're riding on the streets. So I find with that's the big difference where we're riding compared to here. Mm-hmm. Plus we're a lot of off-roading, but besides that, there isn't so much of a police issue. Jesse's actually had a couple of police officers look at his wheel and was like, "Oh my God, that's actually kind of cool!" It's wicked.
For sure. They're intrigued, right?
Yeah, but it is definitely a gray area.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is, but it shouldn't be, but it is unfortunately sometimes, right? So yeah. And where do you guys going forward? Where do you guys kind of see this sport and evolving, like in the next 5 to 10 years? Yourselves, you see yourself still riding in 5 to 10 years?
Oh yeah, as long as my legs and my back will still let me riding, I plan on riding. But main thing too is watching it come on like esports and stuff like that. Just seeing it actually start getting televised and more of a viewer,
sport,
right?
For
so
sure.
you see a lot of like Paris now, they're doing races, and you got down in China, they're doing all their races. So more and more is coming together. So it'll be good once there's a lot more eyes
For sure,
from
like
everywhere.
even like the grassroots, like the mini PEV shows that we've attended, and I've seen like these TEF1 shows.
Yeah, we got the Quebec games in
Quebec,
July.
are you going to that?
Yeah,
Yep.
You
yep.
guys
He's
gonna
one
be
of the
there?
racers
You're
there.
gonna be
Yeah.
a racer?
I
Okay.
came second place last year in the
Yeah,
circuit.
his
so
first race ever.
Oh yeah, congratulations!
Yeah.
Very nice.
So this year-
are you yourself gonna be
No,
in the
no.
Not
I'm
yet?
not a racer. I have Jesse, Alex, and Kara. They will all be racing for me.
Yeah.
And I will be sitting there cheering them on from the sidelines.
Okay. I think maybe that's an event I should make my way down
You
to
should
as
come
well.
down. It's nice.
It's
It's
gonna
a
be-
three-day event.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you get to ride your PEVs on grounds that typically you wouldn't be allowed to ride, and it's beautiful there.
What kind of grounds? Is it all outdoor, by the way?
It
It's
is
not inside
outdoors.
outdoor. Okay.
Yeah.
It's it's hikers, trail walker kind of grounds, right? There's some hills.
It's a beautiful park.
Yeah.
Trails all around.
So you race through trails?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And they're jumping too, or?
There is jumping,
yes.
this time.
So this year they're actually going to have a big jump and airbag set up too. So they have like their own jump area, but even on the racetrack they have little jumps set up too as well. But they're more just like wooden pull away jumps that they can pull away. I think I saw mountain bike hopper, the guys who make the wooden jumps. I know
Yeah.
they're a sponsor for the event this year, so we'll probably see stuff from them there too. So
Okay. So there's gonna be a lot of different electric vehicles, or maybe not even fully. It's fully electric.
Yeah, all
or-
electric.
All electric.
yeah,
Yeah,
last
there'd be-
year there was scooter racing as
Scooter
well.
racing
It's not
too.
just
so
EUC.
scooter racing,
One
Emoto,
wheel.
Emoto too, or no? Probably not Emoto.
They didn't
maybe.
have Emoto last year, and I
No.
don't know if that was just because of lack of interest or if the fields didn't allow it. But no, they had scooter, one wheel, and EUC. So I'm sure if there was a presence, it could.
Yeah. It's
Right?
Cool, for sure. And I guess it's so. Does everybody kind of stay like in the same area? Everybody gets hotels, or like people from out of town, or is it like?
So yeah,
what
you
kind
got.
of facility? Like where is it exactly in Quebec?
Um,
In near Montreal, I'm guessing.
it's I believe they pronounce it Maribel.
Oh,
is
Maribel.
where-
Okay, I see.
Yeah, Bell,
Right.
Maribel,
Yeah.
Riveria.
But
Rivera?
they had cottages up
Cottage,
for
okay.
auctions that you could rent to sleep in.
Okay.
That's actually we grabbed a cottage.
That's
they
nice.
have their
lake. No,
Didn't-
lake.
no lake, but they got
Yeah.
private pond fishing.
Yeah. Okay.
They have their campsites, and then a lot of guys get Airbnbs
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
right?
So you can camp, RV, tent type of thing.
Like
too.
in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the park.
on the
Okay.
grounds there.
That's
yeah.
very nice. So it's good. It's probably a good old fun time, right?
Yep.
It was my first event. I'm a very, I was homeschooled, so I'm a very homebound person, much of an introvert. So for my first race event, I did my first group ride there. I did my first night ride there, and I loved it. It was a really fun, a great event for newcomers for sure.
Okay, and I got a question for you, Paige. What advice would you give to someone hesitant, like yourself? You were hesitant to start. What advice? And you've overcame that, obviously. Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to somebody similar in your shoes?
Honestly, just go for it. I kept saying no to every single person that tried to get me on it until one person who was kind of a little bit more firm, and he didn't take no for an answer. And since then, I haven't regretted it. And every single time, like I just hit my first gap jump, every time I succeed at something, it really shows me like I'm a lot more capable. So
Yeah.
just go for it, try different things. One way might not work for you, and one way works for him, one way doesn't work for me. So try different setups, try different wheels, and until like you fully know like this isn't for you, I wouldn't give up. It's a really good feeling
Yeah, for
to
sure.
be able to just kind of flick a switch on, and then you're just a completely different person. It's nice.
Absolutely. So what does it mean to you? Like, what does riding mean to you now, compared to when you started, let's say?
Well, when I don't ride, I am very depressed. I'm bored. I'm constantly nitpicking everything. It means a lot now that I'm able to finally get out of my house, to be able to be free. Like I said, it shows me what I'm capable of, and I find that if I didn't have this, I wouldn't have stepped outside of so many different comfort zones that I have since I've started. And because of that, I've been able to go a little bit further in life and find certain things about myself, right? So it was really good.
Amazing. And I want to touch on gear. You guys obviously wear protective gear.
Always.
Right? Always
Always.
helmets.
He ran me over, so I have to.
Oh,
Don't get me wrong. There's times where I don't put my gear on when I probably should.
Yeah.
Building jumps, testing jumps, but they're also it's still not an excuse. But like I know what I'm capable. If I've hit the same jump 100 times, it's kind of like walking off a curve for me. So there's times I'll kind of jump on my wheel, check it, make sure like everything's good, type of thing for her. But yes, for the main part, I try to always have my gear on.
Yeah.
He comes from a skateboarding background, so it's like when you watch like manual skateboarders, they wear maybe a helmet.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing. He knows how to fall. Like he said, he knows his limits. Now it obviously scares me half to death, but him falling compared to me is night and day. I can't even ride my wheel if I don't even have helmet and knee pads on and wrist guards. My confidence is gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I for myself, I noticed that too. When I'm fully geared versus when I'm not, I just push myself harder because I know I'm geared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Which sometimes can be more dangerous.
Same with him.
Yeah.
I remember when he first got his Fox chest and back protector. Usually he's maybe like 15, 20 feet in front of me. He was 50 feet in front of me. He was gone. He was
just
feeling
flying,
fearless. He was like, nothing can touch me.
Well, the first time I wiped out there with the speed wobble was the same day I got my chest gear. So
Yeah.
thank God I had it.
Like I've gotten to speed wobbles before, and this is what I want to ask you. So like I kind of been, luckily I've always been able to kind of stop them.
Yeah.
Right, it's like the dreaded speed wobble that we
So
hear every EUC rider is scared of. What happened to you that you fell? I didn't fall yet from a speed wobble, so I'm just curious because if I come into the situation, your wobble must have been a lot more intense than mine. So I'm guessing you're a much better rider than I am, and you know.
At that point, I was fairly new, like
okay,
3 or 4 months in.
Okay. So about the same.
And I'm a little guy, as you can see. I'm not that tall, and my weight isn't really there. And the wheel that I ride is more than half my weight. So when I initially started feeling it, there's some imperfections in the road. So something happened where I felt my wheel kind of go to the one side, and I tried to adjust my foot to kind of make it feel better. And as soon as I moved my toes out a little bit, I felt the whole wheel start swaying back and forth to the point where it was swaying so much it was actually smacking the inside of my thighs.
Oh wow!
I tried to slow down to get out of it, type of thing, and started preparing myself. Okay, if I have to go down, I want to bail backwards, land on my chest on the back plate and stuff, and kind of slide to a stop, let my wheel go in front of me so I'm not getting hit by my wheel falling in front.
Yeah.
Right? So I did that, prepared myself, wheel freaked out, went out, I slid. Luckily the cars behind me, they saw what happened, they put the hazard lights on because I was on one of the roads. And after that, like I said, it was more of just always be carving. Biggest advice I've ever been told is don't ever just be riding straight because
don't do a straight line. Do a little.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way.
Slalom a little. It's kind of like skiing.
Exactly.
It's funny. A guy came from the other day from Brandon, Manitoba. Just,
wow.
The Nosfit Apex. You heard of that
Yep,
wheel? The new wheel, Nosfit Apex. So it's one of our highest end wheels.
Yep.
And he's literally never tried an EUC before. And he said, I want this wheel. He said, I got fully geared with everything, was super excited. And I asked him, like, why are you, I'm just curious, like, why do you want this wheel? Like, you never even tried it before, or what's getting you into EUC?
Yeah.
And he said, because I love to ski, and I feel like this is skiing. And I said to him, you know what? You're right. Actually, it kind of is, like with the carving.
It's fairly similar.
He wants that feeling all the time, right?
Yeah.
So.
It does not remind me of skiing. I had a panic attack and I dropped down to the ground when he took me skiing.
Yeah. Okay,
yes, that's what I mean. I am so not an athletic person.
So maybe now you can.
Maybe you should take me skiing.
Now
try
maybe
now.
That you've overcome a lot and you've grown and came a long way since the start of it, and you can do it.
Yeah.
Put your mind to it. Anything you can do.
Falling sideways doesn't make sense to me. He's like, if you get scared and you can't stop, just fall sideways and you'll stop. And that's not a natural way to fall at all.
Right.
But you learn things just like EUC, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the EUCs too, we got your EUCs behind. These are both your go-to EUCs.
Of course.
So what wheel do you ride?
The Bigode Extreme, of course.
Bigode Extreme, okay. And tell us a little bit about the Bigode Extreme.
So it comes with music, which is like the best thing for me. It was one of my main goers.
Bluetooth?
The Bluetooth,
Yeah. Okay,
the
with
Bluetooth
speakers?
speaker.
Yeah.
Before all of these newer wheels came out, it did have the most suspension travel. So I found with that was going to be really good for me with off-roading and everything.
You know what the suspension travel is? Or?
Yeah, so how much
I think it's 120.
120.
120, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Could
then,
be wrong, but I believe it's
yeah,
120.
it's around, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I just also liked how much smaller like the wheel was, like the tire, right? So it's so nimble that compared to like the Master, for me at least, I found that the Master was just too much of a wheel.
Right.
And then as soon as I hopped onto the Extreme, it was just a lot more, it was smoother for me. Now I will say when it comes to jumping sometimes, since it's a little tall, it's kind of a hit and miss with some riders. It can be a little hard to mount because the pedals are taller, but it is a pretty smooth wheel. It goes over the terrain all beautifully, sand, the curbs, jumps, water, all of that.
Okay, and they're all like IPX6 anyway, so you don't have to really worry about that.
Her wheel is, mine isn't.
What wheel do you ride? What's yours?
I ride a Bigode Master. It was a version 2 at one point.
Yeah.
Basically, everything that was version 2 is no longer there, and it's all version 4 parts. So I upgraded mainboard, everything.
So mods.
Yeah.
Mods.
Basically, just taking out the old guts and replacing it with the newer, better version of everything, right?
Yeah.
And it works great. I do have a 20-inch compared to hers, which I believe is only a 16-inch. So hers is a little bit more nimble in tighter spaces, but this guy has a little bit more power to him. So on the racetracks and at higher speeds, I can really get on that guy compared to the smaller
go-to
wheels.
wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And the pads you have, are those big flow, those Grizzlies, or?
No, so
they're not, right?
I come from a 3D printing world.
Oh, you
so
made them.
I printed
that's
those.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, bought
so
the
tell
files.
us about that a little bit, the 3D printing.
Yeah, so
you were mentioning it before, so you made those.
Yeah, so those
Really
I
cool.
didn't design them, but I purchased the file and I printed them.
Okay.
There's a guy, Mary World on Cults 3D. He sells and makes a bunch of different pads designs. So that's what I do. I just purchase his when he makes them and print them myself. Coming from an FPV drone background, I do a lot of 3D printing for my drone parts and stuff like that. So having like 10 printers at home instead of buying pads, I print them out and I see how I like them first. If I like them,
so you customize it for you too, Paige?
Yeah, so
You
exactly.
get the special pink
the
ones.
pink, and then he had the same thing. He purchased the file for mine, but the toes were too small for me, so he altered that and stretched them out, so I was able to jump better. But everything that he does, he prints himself, or if there's certain things that do need to be designed, like my bumper kit isn't actually Grizzla.
No.
My friend designed it for me.
Okay.
So I lucked out that way, and I saved myself some money because it is very expensive getting it as much as I want Grizzly stuff. It is very expensive for me to get it from over there. So I lucked out with a designer and 3D printer man here.
the good thing with these two is the fact that because they're replicas of those products.
Yeah. I looked at them again.
It's good.
We recently brought them in. We have the products in, so I thought it was just another generation, another model, but
no, they make
it's the Jesse model,
in a sense, not mine, but
not yours, but yeah.
But why I like to do this is because you can test them out, see if you like them, and then pull the trigger on buying the real deal, right?
Yeah.
So you can't beat the real power pads, you can't beat the real Grizzlies, but at least here you can be like, okay, am I going to like the feeling of this before I spend $300 on pads type
Really
of thing,
cool.
right?
Really nice.
My thing
it's
is
a good option.
I don't want my $300 to get dinged up and everything, so I'm just like, okay, this is the cheapest way for me to do it.
And then you can replace it. And you can make your pink color.
But I will say, Grizzly's the only one that I've seen that can get that pink TPU, and he's got me hooked on it, but it's one of those things. You can't get pink TPU much, not in that color.
Yeah, no, it's nice. They got nice stuff. I just brought in a sample of their stuff, a bunch of stuff, and I tried it for the first time. And wow, it is a huge difference.
It is.
It's a huge difference to have it riding. It definitely keeps you in place, gets you moving, stopping. everything. More control. The control is way, way better.
It's like riding a snowboard with bindings. If you try to ride without binding, it's so much harder.
You can't ride without bindings. 100%,
Exactly.
100%. Is there one more thing? Any advice that you guys have? I think I asked Paige this already, kind of, but maybe let's move it to Jesse because I touched it on herself. But any advice you have for new young riders?
Biggest thing is just have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid, just turn that brain off and give it a shot, because honestly, that's really what holds a lot of people back. It's just being able to turn it off and give it a shot, especially with the EUCs and stuff like that. Like, worst thing it's going to happen, it's going to fall over and you're going to step off the first couple times, right?
Absolutely,
so just don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. I actually shot my first video of me learning to ride an EUC on YouTube the first time, so it's quite amusing. But you know, I progressed. I progressed very, very quickly.
Yep.
You're just determined, and you do it. That's it.
Confidence is huge, right?
Confidence. It's all about confidence, 100%. And also wanted to mention, so I've been following you guys as well on Instagram, watching your journey kind of unfold, and it's really been, you know, it's been nice, and it's been heartwarming to see you guys together, doing everything together. Really nice. And I wanted to our viewers, if anybody wants to check you guys out, if you want to drop us your Instagram handles, if you're comfortable with that. So
yeah,
because it's really cool. I think it's something for everybody to see.
Yeah, Sick FPV on Instagram. It's SICAFPV. Yeah, go check me out.
LulusWorld.96 on Instagram.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
For sure. It's been a pleasure and a real slice. Guys, until next time, we wish you all an epic day or night.